Hey everyone, Cinema Buffs here, bringing you another episode of Beer Goggle Reviews, where we add a little bit of alcohol to our movie reviews as we sit down and watch Kevin Smith's latest film, Yoga Hoosers, on Netflix.
That's right. So the difference between this episode and the last Beer Goggles review we did with The Room is that Dennis and I have never seen this movie before. So this is going to be a complete new experience for us, and we just figured alcohol would just make it a little bit better. So let's get into it.
Start the show.
So we just watched Yoga Hoosers, and we had quite a few drinks during this film. Several beverages. So, now we're ready to talk about it. So what we're going to do is we're going to split into good and bad of this movie. What we liked about this movie and what was not good about this movie. We've never seen it before, so we're going to kind of review it right now. So start it off, Dennis. What did you like about Yoga Hoosers?
Yeah, it's customary to start with the good news.
Yeah.
Before you get into the bad.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think that with this movie, it's written and directed by Kevin Smith. Clerks, Dogma, Mallrats. All of his movies have at some point, whether it's the main characters or not, or just side characters, there's a friendship.
Yeah. That's
being tested throughout a movie,
and
I think that Kevin Smith really captures friendship really well. What I think Kevin Smith's strong suit was when he was earlier in his career was his. He had like a knack for dialogue.
Totally.
Great dialogue.
Yeah, that's like what it was all about. Clerks was all about dialogue.
Yeah, and I think this kind of had the same setup with Clerks. They're both clerks in a convenience store. I mean, let's just call it for what it was.
Yeah.
And there are glimpses of that great dialogue, but it kind of gets bogged down in like the whole Canadianisms of A and a boot and all this stuff.
Which has its novelty. Like, I thought it was funny because I'm not from Canada. I don't go to Canada very often.
Yeah.
So it's funny to watch the A's and the boots and all that. Like, I thought right at the beginning of the movie, Dad said, is this like, it's funny now, but is it going to wear off? And it did. It wore off. Like, the Canadianisms wore off. I thought that this movie did have strong points, and that was from its cameos. Like, and by cameos, I mean like actual characters. Like, Justin Long plays their yoga instructor. He got some of the biggest laughs. Like, so good. Johnny Depp plays, again, the same character from Tusk, and he plays this private investigator. And I loved Johnny Depp's character. I did from Tusk. I love it here. Like, he thought it got old.
I thought he got a little too tired at the end. Just a little too much at the end. He was like a heavy part of the third act, and I thought that he could have gone away quicker and it would have made the movie better.
Sort of like in Tusk.
Yeah.
He had his moment and then he went away. Obviously, this film is out of his league. He is so good.
Oh, he's miles above this
he's
movie.
So good of an actor.
I mean, despite the Alice in Wonderland sequel and everything, like Black Mass was like a true, return to form.
But just like in this, you can see like he's putting his effort into it again. Like it doesn't seem like he's just, going through the motions there for the paycheck. He's doing it because it's funny. He has a lot of makeup on. You can't even like recognize him really.
His moles kept moving. I thought that was pretty funny.
His moles kept moving.
But nobody commented on it. I thought it would have been funnier if somebody would have commented on it.
I agree with that too, yeah. And Haley Joel Osment has a cameo as like the Canadian Hitler, pretty much. And you didn't like it.
No, I didn't. I thought that was just just the whole scene itself, not just the character.
The flashback, kind of black and white
Yeah, it's
scene.
just like, I mean, it's just one of the, we'll get into the negatives about it, but it was just something that didn't work for me personally. There were some funny parts.
Yeah.
There were. There were some really good funny parts, and just like I said, there were flashes of like old school Kevin Smith. The things that like made me love him as like a small time filmmaker back in the day.
Yeah.
But I just feel like he's kind of like run the well dry on his creativity and his comedy. Like, there's glimpses of it in there, but it's just not enough.
Every movie he makes seems to steer a little bit further away, but has a little bit of a piece of what he used to be. And I just wonder if that's him as a filmmaker. You can see that he's going more experimental with these things. Like Tusk was a weird movie. Red State was a weird movie. He wants to go more horror. He wants to go more shocking, and there is some sort of commentary there, but I just don't think it fits.
While this movie looks a lot better than Clerks did, the production value is definitely upped.
Yeah.
Just the substance quality is.
Yeah.
I'm butchering that word right now.
I think we know what you're saying.
Yeah, you'll get it. Please put it in text or something. But I think the quality, just the overall quality of the dialogue and the characters is not as good as it used to be. Now let's flip it over and tell me what you didn't like about this movie. I thought, you said plenty of what you did like. What did you not like?
What I will say is that the music was a complete poor choice in general with the music. I mean, I guess it fit, but at times we were just like, why is there music at this scene? Why is this happening? It's really like a Disney movie from the 90s.
Yeah. It's not like a good Disney movie from the 90s. It was like flubber music.
Yeah,
kind of thing. Music. Like where it's just like they're like, the girls had plans for the night, and then they get bogged down by the parents who make them work instead. It's just like this disastrous kind of like trumpety kind of music in the background.
And it was off.
Yeah, and not only the original music like that, there was like a little bit of like kind of callbacks to movies like Halloween with the themes
and The Shining.
And The Shining as well. Yeah, and it's just like right, but at no point did I think this was a horror movie to be called back to those movies.
It's not a horror movie at all. I think you feel the same way. Where the special effects, like, what were they trying to achieve here?
I think we could do the special effects right now in the mind state that we're in, and pull it off like this movie did, because they were so bad, just so like, just you could see how bad it was. It looked like like just Mortal Kombat Annihilation, like obvious CGI, just poorly made.
Yeah, but why? I mean, Kevin Smith has the budget. He has the people behind him. He has done special effects with, you mentioned Dogma and
and those good practical effects.
I think that like he has connections enough, but this seemed on purpose. But it also seemed like a wrong choice.
It kind of feels like their daughters wanted to make a movie together, and like, hey, we got the money, we got the resources to do it, so let's just make this movie together.
Yeah, I think as a spawn of also the Tusk movie, which came from a podcast. I think that,
so was this one, right?
Yeah, I think this one is too. I really can see that like podcast like commentary, like, wow, we're having a conversation right now. Let's make it into a movie. And the time and care didn't go into the script that it needed to. It didn't flesh out. You were talking about how like Johnny Depp's character's like, I got you out of jail because I did. Like, there was no reason behind it.
The characters were in jail, and then Johnny Depp's like, I can get you out, and then they're out.
And
then he says he illegally got him out. It's like, what did he do to get him illegally out? They never show that.
It's just, I don't know if it knew what to spend its time on. Let's talk about the villain.
Let's talk about the villain. His whole shtick was that he lived in this subterranean kind of like basement, and the only thing to bring him up, educate him about the modern world, was Netflix.
Right.
So he watches all these movies, and he does these impressions, which at first are kind of funny.
Yeah,
we were laughing in the beginning.
I was laughing at the beginning because it was like pronounced that way of being like, now I'm going to do Pacino now, and I'm like, all right, this is kind of funny, whatever. And Johnny Depp's character's reaction to it made me laugh too.
Yeah. But then it gets a little too tired, because it's like the impressions that everyone does. Everyone's got their Stallone. Everyone's got their Schwarzenegger. Everyone's got their Pacino. And it's just like, it just gets tired. And I think that's representative of the movie itself.
They shoehorned this whole story of why the girls, the main characters, were connected with the awakening of the sausage. It's just like you said, ridiculous. This movie is ridiculous. All right, so that's our review of Yoga Hoosers. So Dennis, let's just say, did you like the movie? And if so, or if not, is it better with beer goggles? What do you think?
Well, I'll say this. This movie is fun to enjoy with a friend, with a few drinks, where you guys can kind of, shit on it together and just point out its flaws and enjoy what's kind of good about it. And I guess that's the best way I can put it. This movie is kind of good.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have enjoyed it sober, and I don't think I would have enjoyed it drinking by myself. So I'm glad that I watched it with you, drinking while doing so.
So
it's kind of good.
Beer goggles required?
Beer goggles required.
Okay. Yeah. I can agree with that. I think I liked it more than you did. I did enjoy this movie. I thought it was pretty funny, but I think it is because I was enjoying it with a friend. I was having some drinks. If I would have watched it sober alone, I think I would have been distracted. I would have gone on my phone or almost maybe given up on it. So, I think that, yes, beer goggles required.
Yeah.
for this whole thing. And but with a friend, all that good stuff. Like, yeah, have some fun. If you guys have nothing to do, put on Yoga Hoosers and have some drinks and make a drinking game out of it. Every time they say yoga or a,
or any kind of Canadianism.
yeah, just like take a drink, a boot. Like
Yeah.
if you take a drink, you're gonna probably
Yeah.
be pretty
Yeah,
three sheets
you're
of the
gonna be
wind on
good.
the whole thing. Yeah, you'll be good. So that's our review of Yoga Hoosers. What did you guys think? Did you see the movie? Did you like it? Do you think it's better with a little more alcohol? Leave your comments below. Also, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. We always appreciate all the support here at Cinema Buffs.
Yes, we truly do. And be sure to join us this Friday. The votes have been tallied, and we're going to see the movie you guys chose for us as we see Split.
Split.
The new M. Night
Thank
Shyamalan
you.
movie with James McAvoy. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the lesser of two evils between Vin Diesel and M. Night Shyamalan.
I don't want to
but-
see Triple X at all.
No. Thank you so much for choosing Split. We'll bring you that review Friday. But until then, don't forget.
There's no place like the theater.